BookTube, here to do another one of my Let's Talk videos. This one is not going to be quite as serious as some of the last Let's Talks have been. I'm here to talk to you guys today about short fiction, why I love short fiction, where I get most of my short fiction from, and some resources that you can check out if it's something you want to get to know more about. I have been reading a ton of short fiction this year. I feel like for me 2016 has been like the year of the short story. In years past, I've dabbled in collections and kind of picked them up here and there when they've come highly recommended by sources that I trust. But I feel like this year I've kind of gone out on a limb, started doing some of my own exploring. I have a couple of new subscriptions to some short form magazines and resources and things like that, and I'm really loving it. I think I really am drawn to short stories and flash fiction because it takes all of the things that I love most about great, big, sweeping, epic, hard-hitting novels, and it really condenses them down. It really gives you kind of the essence of a story, and it has to in order to work within the format. So I have read some short fiction that is just as emotional, has just as much world building, and is just as powerful as the 600, 700, 800 page fantasy tomes that I've read. I feel like because of this, short fiction can be really hit or miss. If it strives to do that and doesn't do that well, it will fall really flat, and it will fall really flat really fast. However, if that is the case, it's short fiction. So it's short, so you can finish it, absorb it, move on, and you don't feel as though you've kind of wasted your time with this, 600 page epic novel, or even a, 300 or 400 page novel that ended up not being what you were expecting it to be. And I think that's one of the benefits of short fiction. When it's good, it's really good. And when it's not, at least it's over quickly, so you can kind of move on. I think for me, one of the things in the past that I always kind of had trouble with short fiction with was sitting with it. As opposed to finishing, a novel length book and then being able to put it down and pick up another one pretty much right away. I feel like to really get the most out of short fiction, I need to kind of sit with it and let it stew a little bit. And because of that, I really enjoy having the monthly subscriptions to the magazines that I have. I am currently subscribed to Clarkesworld and to Uncanny Magazine. I'm also subscribed to Lightspeed, but that is a standalone subscription. The first two I have subscribed through the Kindle store. You can get them, I think they're a couple bucks a month, $2.99, $3.99, something like that. Or at least Clarkesworld is. Uncanny's a little bit differently because it's published every 2 months. So you pay, I believe it's $25 up front, and that covers your entire year's worth of subscriptions, which is 6 issues. Lightspeed I am subscribed to because I backed the People of Color Destroy Science Fiction Special Edition that Lightspeed came out with, and that came with a year-long subscription to Lightspeed magazine, as well as to Nightmare magazine, which is one of their kind of sister subsidiary companies. So those are the 4 kind of print resources that I love. I think what I also love about these resources is that not only do they have very genre specific short stories available, so if I want to pick up something horror or something fantasy or science fiction, I can very easily and specifically find that genre that I'm looking for. They also have really great selections of nonfiction, whether that's talking about recent popular culture, gender and race in the, kind of genres at hand, or whether that's just talking about how the genre works and doing author interviews and artist interviews and those kinds of things. Each of the magazines I subscribe to really does a banner job of focusing on their task at hand and producing excellent quality work. If I had to pick just one to subscribe to, I think it would be Uncanny Magazine. Uncanny Magazine doesn't necessarily draw really strict boundaries between fantasy and science fiction like some of the other ones do, but they do always include a really good chunk of pretty lengthy stories. Most of their stories are 20 to 40, 50 pages, which is a really solid length for short fiction. And they're just, so far, they've just been really knocking it out of the park. The two that I have really loved the least, The two that I've really loved the most recently are Ye Highlands and Ye Lowlands by Shannon Maguire and The Drowning Line by Halambi Markov. I will link both of these down below if I can find them. They were in the May issue of Uncanny Magazine. They really knocked my socks off, and that is saying something with all the short fiction I've been reading recently. I also really love Nightmare Magazine. Like I said in my July MBR, rest of July TBR video, I've really been getting into horror lately, and Nightmare Magazine has been a big part of that, reading the short stories within it. If print is not really your thing and you're looking for kind of another outlet with which to consume your storytelling, there are some really great podcasts that I've recently found. These were actually pointed out to me by Elizabeth over at Books and Pieces when she did her stunning podcast announcement video for Magical Space Pussycats. She also included some of her favorite fiction sources and podcasts. Among the best of those for me being Podcastle and Pseudopod. These are two fiction podcasts that release short stories being read. Podcastle is fantasy and Pseudopod is horror. They release at least once a week, sometimes more than that, and they both have huge backlists that you can get to. Clarkesworld and Uncanny Magazine also feature podcasts where they read some of the more recent selections from their magazines and do kind of an update on how the production of the magazine is going. And I really highly recommend all of those sources. So that's it, you guys. That's me talking about short fiction and what I've been reading recently within short fiction and why I love it so much. So let me know down below if you are a short fiction fan, if it doesn't really work for you. If it doesn't work for you now, don't despair. I spent a lot of years not really being a fan. I didn't really know how to process it and work through it and kind of switch my brain to a short fiction mode amongst all the other long fiction that I was reading. But let me know down below how you feel if you read short fiction, what some of your favorite short fiction resources are. And of course, you can always just leave general comments, questions, concerns. Find me all over social media, Goodreads, Instagram, Twitter. I am here for all of it, and I'm always here to talk books with you beautiful people. All right, everybody, happy reading.